You pride yourself on being strategic. You think 3 moves ahead. You don't let emotions slow you down. That's how you win in competitive environments. But here's the uncomfortable question. At what point does that discipline turn into something darker? Some of the same traits that drive elite performance are also traits psychologists place inside the dark triad. There's a name for that pattern, Machiavellianism. From the outside, it looks like strength. The real difference isn't skill, it's sustainability. Left unchecked, those same traits can push you into isolation and burnout. Today, we're going to audit your ambition and upgrade it. Let's examine the 5 traits that separate sustainable ambition from its dark side. I'm Stephen Walters. I teach resilience and burnout prevention, and this is one of the patterns that quietly leads high performers toward burnout. And if you want to run yourself through this in a structured way, I've put together a sustainable ambition audit you can download. We'll get to that at the end. But let's start with the first trait of instrumental relationships. When people become assets. High performers build networks. They evaluate alliances. They understand leverage. That's not wrong. In fact, it's smart. But here's the drift. When every relationship becomes a transaction, something shifts. Conversations feel calculated. Loyalty becomes conditional. People matter as long as they perform. And over time, your relationships stop recharging you. If every connection is strategic, you never get to stop performing. And performance mode is exhausting. It wears down your emotional stability. It strains your relationships. And it quietly removes the support system that keeps people from burning out. Here's a shift that makes this sustainable. Build at least one relationship where performance is irrelevant. No leverage, no advantage, just connection. Because sustainable power requires emotional restoration, not just strategic alliances. If that felt uncomfortable, let's keep going. Trait number 2, strategic emotional detachment, composure versus suppression. High achievers pride themselves on staying calm. They don't overreact. They don't show weakness. And under pressure, that's a strength. But composure and suppression are not the same thing. Composure regulates emotion. Suppression buries it. When emotions get pushed down instead of processed, they don't disappear. They build pressure. And that pressure shows up as irritability, exhaustion, or sudden burnout. This directly affects your emotional stability and your ability to recover from stress. The goal isn't less control, it's better control. Practice emotional regulation, not avoidance. Pause. Name what you're feeling. Process it privately before reacting publicly. That's not weakness. That's advanced control. But emotional control isn't the only lever high achievers pull. Trait number 3, calculated transparency. Information as leverage. Strategic communicators understand timing. They don't reveal everything immediately. They protect leverage. Again, this can be smart, but here's the drift. When you constantly manage perception, when you withhold clarity to maintain control, when every message is a chess move, your brain never fully rests. You're always calculating, and that affects your work sustainability, and it slowly erodes trust because people can sense when communication is controlled instead of clear. The smarter move is this: increase clarity where control isn't required. Not every interaction needs leverage. Some need trust. And when information becomes control, people start to look like threats. That's where the next trait takes over. Trait number 4, competitive cynicism, assuming everyone is playing a game. High achievers are often good at reading motives. They don't take things at face value. They see strategy and behavior. That helps avoid manipulation. But when skepticism becomes your default setting, collaboration feels unsafe. Kindness feels suspicious. Trust feels risky. And if you assume everyone is competing, your nervous system never powers down. You stay alert, you stay guarded, and you stay on. That drains energy over time. It affects your relationships. It affects your stress levels. And it makes sustainable performance harder. The long-term advantage looks like this. Shift from global distrust to selective trust. Don't assume the worst. Test gradually. Build trust in layers instead of walls. And now we reach the trait that quietly fuels all the others. Trait number 5, win at all costs identity. When winning becomes who you are. Drive is powerful. High standards are powerful. Refusing to lose builds momentum. But when winning becomes your identity, everything changes. If your self-worth depends on outcomes, loss feels personal. Rest feels dangerous. And detaching from work feels like falling behind. When your identity depends on winning, your emotional stability, your relationships, your work sustainability, and your sense of purpose all shrink to one scorecard. Let me give you a real-world lens. When you study polarizing high performance, whether it's Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, or aggressive founders in competitive industries, you see a pattern. Strategic detachment can produce extraordinary results, but it often comes with public criticism about leadership style, relational strain, and high-pressure cultures. This isn't about attacking individuals. It's about recognizing the trade-offs. Extraordinary performance sometimes amplifies Machiavellian tendencies. And if those tendencies aren't integrated, the cost shows up somewhere, often in cultural, relationships, or personal sustainability. That's the pattern. The real power move is this. Build identity around values, not outcomes. Win because it aligns with who you are, not because you need it to prove you exist. Now, let's zoom out. These traits can produce short-term advantage. They can sharpen you. They can accelerate you, but they also increase the cost of performance. They raise mental load. They reduce emotional recovery. They weaken trust, and they fuse identity with outcomes. That's when burnout shows up. Not always because you work too hard, but because your success architecture isn't sustainable. And you can win your way right into exhaustion. And the most dangerous part, from the outside, it looks impressive. The goal isn't to remove ambition, it's to refine it. Sustainable high performance requires alignment between emotional stability, strong relationships, healthy work structures, and a sense of purpose beyond winning. That's real strength. If you want to see whether your ambition is sustainable or quietly leading you toward burnout, download the Sustainable Audit below in the description, and I'll also pin it in the comment. It gives you a structured self-assessment so you can spot the drift before it costs you.